Let's get started. So this is going to be a fireside chat session with my colleague Jacqueline, and we will cover some of the most important topics or questions around the customer success career path. For the first part, we will introduce ourselves, and for the second, we will jump right into the Q&A session, and we will have some time for your questions as well. So my name is Paola. I'm from Colombia, now based in Munich, Germany, and I wanted to share this amazing picture, one of my personal stories around this movie, Spirited Away. And this is one of my favorite animated movies, and this is when I did my first cosplay. And this is what, in case you haven't watched it, this is the story about the adventures of a young girl named Chihiro as she wanders into the world of the gods and spirits, motivated just by one purpose: rescuing her parents. So you might be wondering what Spirited Away has to do with customer success management. So one of the life lessons to learn from this movie is to help others on their journey to the destination. And this is one of the many goals that we as a customer success managers are we focusing on. So to ensure they achieve the desired outcome through interactions with the customers with our solution or product, and how they achieve it, or how they require outcome or appropriate experience of them. So actually, Chihiro means in Japanese asking questions, searching and seeking, and that's pretty much what represents what I've been doing during my professional career and what I'm gonna do today in this session. And I have worked in the field of research management, marketing, and project management for several years in Colombia and in Germany. And this always searching for new challenges. And this is why I call Paola Chihiro. And then I found this amazing opportunity at Userlane, working as a customer success manager. And yeah, I really looking forward to sharing these thoughts about this career path with you.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So yes, my name is Jacqueline, and the fun fact that I'm going to share with you guys today is what I actually did during lockdown in order to cope. And what that was a virtual hike of the Appalachian Trail. I am originally from the States, and as Paula mentioned earlier, we are in Munich. So I did a bunch of local hikes in the area, and all of those miles or kilometers went towards my virtual hike, and I was able to receive basically my first medal in life ever. So that was a recent achievement for me. And as far as my journey to customer success, I originally studied industrial engineering in school, but upon completing an internship in a manufacturing setting, I decided when I graduated that I wanted to try the other side of the coin with engineering, which is typically going into consulting. And that consulting role actually was rebranded later to being customer success manager. So as that term became more popular, we realized that's really what we were doing. And I've been in customer success now for about 7 years. So I'm looking forward to answering Paula's questions today.
Great. Thank you, Jacqueline. So one of the most important questions when talking about customer success is, what is customer success and why it's so in demand?
Yes, I'll start with why it's in demand, actually, a bit of the history. So customer success came a bit with the rise of software as a service and the need for a subscription-based model for contracts with customers. In the past, they may have purchased the software and actually had that software for life. But now with cloud-based services, it's more common for it to be that they purchase on a subscription basis. And what that means is maybe they have a year-long contract, and by the end of the year, they're actually able to choose to continue with that software and renew, or choose not to and discontinue that contract. And so that kind of enters the need for customer success, because our role is to actually build a relationship with that customer and fully understand what their goals are, what they're trying to achieve with the software. And then our goal would be that we're able to work with them and help them achieve those goals so that year to year, they are still receiving value and want to renew.
Great. Thank you, Jacqueline. Yes, as I said before, customer success is about to be the customer's advisors throughout the journey, to be the voice of the customer or customer advocates. So we are really working closely with the customer in understanding what are the drivers and understanding what success means for the customer and how the customer can succeed with our solution. This is one of the main keywords around customer success. We have here renewal, training, relationship, because we are building a long-term relationship with the customer. Um, we have here goals, value. They have to find value with our solution as well. And the second, yeah, in relation to the first one, what are the skills, what type of skills are needed to work in customer success?
Yes, so in the next slide, we actually have a bit of a visual. So we have a list of skills that are very common. And just with the top three, we have communication, relationship building, and empathy. And on the right, I actually have a little bit of a diagram here that will further explain those a bit. So starting with listening, it's very important that we're able to listen well to what the customer needs and also show them that we've understood what they want. So being able to show and prove that you are listening and understanding what it is that they need will build that trust. And then once that trust has been developed in that relationship, they will then trust you to guide them on best practices. So then you become a consultant, someone who is going to be their advisor. And it actually does come full circle because now they're actually listening to you and seeking your advice because that trust is there and they want your guidance.
Great. And yeah, as you said, Jacqueline, we have to focus not only on the outcome, but also on the experience for our customers. As a trusted advisor, we have to show them empathy. Maybe they are feeling frustrated with our solution, and therefore we need to be a good listener as well. It's really important to have this skill.
Exactly. And then, of course, there's also other skills such as problem solving, analytical skills. It's very important to have these because you need to be the product expert for them. They may come to you with a problem and they're not sure how to solve it within your platform. And it's very important that you're able to take what they're trying to do and come up with a solution and advise them in the right direction. Project management can also be important after they sign that contract and you actually start the relationship with them on the customer success side. You're probably going to be working with them on the initial implementation. That's going to require some project management skills, working with all the stakeholders, making sure everyone's goals are being met. And then training and presentation kind of goes along with that as well. There will be initial training so that they're able to learn how to use the platform and able to configure the software to meet their needs. So having good training skills such as knowing when to bring up examples that really relate to them is really important to drive points home. The last one, research mindset, I think is something that's not often thought about, but it's really important and can actually set someone apart from just being a customer success manager to being a really good one. And some examples when that might come up could be in the kickoff call. That's usually the first interaction you might have with a customer to start up that relationship. It's very important to ask a lot of questions in that call to find out why have they purchased the software, what are they trying to achieve, what are their goals, and also another really important thing to ask, how do they plan to measure the success of this solution? How are they going to identify if it's meeting their needs and actually quantify that? It's important for you to know that because then you're able to guide them in the right direction with that knowledge. Another example of when you might use the research mindset is maybe they come to you saying, hey, we need this feature. It's really important to ask, why do you need that? What are you trying to do? It's possible that another feature exists within your platform that actually does meet their needs that they weren't aware of, and they had just had a different vision in mind. And then you're able to point them in that direction. Or maybe there is nothing that can address their needs, but through asking more questions and finding out a bit more about what they're trying to accomplish, you can then relay that information internally to your product team so that they can map out the appropriate parameters for that feature.
Great. For the third one, maybe there are some misconceptions between the customer service and the customer success manager positions, even though we were really close together, but maybe we interact in a different way with the customer. So what is the difference between these positions?
Yes, very good question. So customer success, I feel like whenever people think of that, they jump to customer support, and there actually are some major differences. On the next slide, we actually have a few that are mapped out. The main one is that customer support, their interactions with the customers are typically more reactive, and for us, it's more proactive. So with customer support, it could be that somebody reaches out with a problem or question about the product, and really customer support doesn't have time to build a relationship with them. They really just need to focus on making sure that that interaction they have with them is as pleasant and can solve their problem by the end of it as it can be. And really, the goal is that the customer is able to leave that interaction with a solution, or at the very least, they're satisfied with the end result. And customer success, like I mentioned, it's usually more proactive. We have milestones throughout the implementation that we want to hit. We also have business reviews, typically that will be on a regular cadence, such as quarterly. And all of these touch points are really mapped out. You have time to build this relationship and really be a consultant for those customers.
Perfect. For the fourth one, so yesterday we have joined this amazing session from Jo about using data to elevate customer experience. And she mentioned something important. Customer is the king. Customer is king, and data is the key to the kingdom. So data help us to build well informed. So this is directly related to this question. So what are the key metrics you need to deliver to be successful in this position?
Yes. So typically, the way that you measure how successful you're being is you try to gauge the health of your accounts. And obviously, the more healthy the account, the more likely they are to renew or even expand. So that's really your end goal. So that's a good way to look at how you're doing. One way of doing that, or at least a way to quickly capture some information, is via the NPS score. This is done via a one-question survey, the question being on a scale of 0 to 10, how likely are you to recommend the software to a friend or colleague? And here you'll have essentially they'll be able to click on any of these numbers from 0 to 10. They'll be acknowledged as a detractor, passive, or promoter, kind of in the background. And then the health of score will be calculated based on the percent of promoters and then subtracting the percent of detractors. That will give you the net promoter score. This is on a scale of negative 100 to positive 100. With negative 100 being the lowest, positive 100 being the highest. And ideally, you want to be in the positive area. The higher you are, the better. This is, of course, just going to be a quick snapshot. It gives you a good pulse on how everything's doing, but it's really just a piece of it. It's really important to still have regular touch points, such as those business reviews, where you're actually having some interaction, asking some questions, getting some qualitative feedback, in addition to having this quick pulse and quick response from them as well.
Awesome. For the next ones, if you want to pursue a new career challenge or if you're looking for a job in the field, so what to look for in a customer success positions?
Yes. So I would say that there's two main things that you should be thinking about when you're looking at roles. One would be, what industry are you interested in? Because software exists in every industry. That's kind of the beauty of software, and the beauty of customer success is it's needed everywhere. So that gives you some freedom to think about, where do your passions lie? So for example, maybe you come from a family of teachers and you're really passionate about education. There are plenty of platforms out there that are used by teachers. Their whole goal is to make the teacher's life a bit easier. And so it could be that you might apply for roles at some of those. Another example could be you're very interested in the environment, and there's plenty of software within the renewable energy field. So it just really focus on your passions and apply to those, because I think that's where you're going to find the most happiness in those types of roles where you feel you're making an impact in something that you're really interested in. And then the other thing to think about, and maybe even ask in an interview, if you have an interview for a customer success position, is what is the product like and how complex is it? would you be expected to do a lot of the configuration on behalf of the customer, or is it something that has a really good ease of use and the customer is able to, after some training, do a lot of it on their own and do their own configuration? It's really important to target some roles where the product has really good ease of use, and then that way you're able to focus your attention more on the classic CS responsibilities, such as big strategic discussions, planning out the how to achieve goals, and thinking about renewals, planning for those business reviews, things of that nature. Really, the more proactive things.
Great. And this relates to the last question. So, how is customer success at Userlane?
Yes. So first, we'll start off with what Userlane is a bit. So Userlane is the fastest way to provide help in any software. Userlane can guide and support users directly in any web-based application and instantly make any software process easy to grasp. So our customers will actually use Userlane to build out guides within their applications that their users are then able to use interactively to learn that application, or even just complete tasks within that application. So as far as how that impacts us on the CS team, the product Userlane is very easy to learn, and it's easy to build these guides from start to finish, all on their own. These customers are able to do a lot of it themselves. So like I said earlier, there's a lot of benefits with that makes our lives a bit easier and allows us to focus on the more typical CS responsibilities. Another big aspect of Userlane is our organization, how we're structured on the CS department. It's important to note that we are not just a team of customer success managers. We also have two other categories, one being implementation consultants and the other being a team of customer support agents. These are very important because, for example, with the implementation consultant, they are more of the technical resource. They're around typically for the implementation, and they're able to help out a lot with training and anything that could come up as a technical roadblock. And then customer support agents, we've mentioned a bit about what customer support does, but as far as how they help us with our role, it's possible that maybe a question comes to us from the customer, we try to solve it, maybe we're not able to help them out, we're able to push it to customer support, and they are product experts who can address it. So that's another aspect of Userlane that's really helps out myself and Paula, is that we have a really strong implementation and customer support team.
Yeah, as a customer success manager at Userlane, I'm really focusing on the onboarding process, as we mentioned before, with the customer until they go live. And after they go live, we are having this business review, so these interactions throughout the solution with our product. Yeah, I think if you have questions, we have 1 minute left. Uh, so thank you so much for joining us today, and feel free to connect with us via LinkedIn or email. And thank you so much. If I see questions in the chat. So yeah.
Yeah, good question. Is a technical background essential for this position? No, it is not. Like I mentioned, there's, at least in our case, teams of implementation consultants and a team of support agents. And really, they help out in that technical way. You know, they can address a lot of technical issues, leaving us to focus more on big strategy. And this is not uncommon to have these types of organizations within the CS department. Other companies have this as well. So yes, a technical background is not essential for the position.
Great. So and we have a last one. What's Userlane's web link for position? So feel free to connect with us. We can provide you the link for the position. Thank you so much for joining us, and happy to connect with you.